Of course, every day affords us another opportunity to start again, wrong the rights, and move on in life. Good morning and welcome to Rise and Shine, coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. Today is a Monday, the beginning of a new week, and I'm sure you're ready to make it very, very productive. Welcome.
Good morning. It's a really beautiful Monday. My name is Wike, and I'm super excited to be here. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Uyayan. How was your weekend?
Grateful here I am today.
Okay, so I took our time to go through Uyo during the weekend and see how things look like, where the creme de la creme stay. And I was like, okay, let me just see how these places are, in case I'm trying to own a property or something.
Of course. That's the way to think about it.
Yeah, you know, that positive thinking. In case I want to buy a property or I want to buy a land somewhere. Okay, so talking about, being positive and productive, of course, that's what we're wishing for you this week. And we are going to start our story this way. So many things have been happening in Nigeria. Quite interesting. The second annual general conference, sparked a lot of drama. It was either they were talking about some of the entrances of some presidential aspirants, or away from that, they were talking about for conference bags. A lot of things, came out from that particular 62nd MBA, and I'm sure Lumide Akpata, as the former president or chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, had a
person
is receiving and all of that. But come on, I think the one that really sparked a lot of reactions was the outfit of the vice presidential candidate for the All Progressives Congress, that's Kashim Shettima, where they even had to do like a Shettima challenge because of that particular outfit. But that's not what we are going to be discussing this morning. What exactly we are going to be talking about is the fact that the person himself, which is the vice presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Kashim Shettima, has actually come out to tell Nigerians why he decided to dress that way. So more like it was something he deliberately did, okay? So you now ask the question.
I was in Lagos for the NBA conference. NBA conference was held at Echo Hotel. It was largely funded by the Lagos State government, the APC government of Lagos State. Subsequently, they moved to Echo Atlantic City, a product of an idea conceived by Ashwaju Bola Ahmed. For the NBA conference. NBA conference was held at Echo Hotel. It was largely a product of an idea conceived by Ashwaju Bola Ahmed. One of the presidential candidates, he funded.
Okay, of course, that's the voice of the vice presidential candidate for the APC, Kashim Shettima, and he said that background of exactly what he said was his basic reason of wearing it. But he said he was told that, there was going to be a hostile crowd. He said he's a banker trained by one of the very best bankers in the world. He said he is a Jimovia boy, and it was deliberate that he wore sneakers to snub at them. I wonder why, he decided to wear sneakers to snub at some group of people. What was that?
What does
at the end of the
sneakers and snubbing at people mean? At the end of the day, when I read and listened to this explanation, I just got more disappointed at the group of people he's working with. Because first of all, they allowed him step out dressed like that and then got the backlash. At the end of the day, you're trying to do a post management for the event, how it turned out, and you still make the man come out and look I don't know, you still not put together? Because, I mean, this response doesn't make any sense. The best thing might have been for them not to make any statement at all than to come out and say, I'm a banker trained by the best banker. I wore sneakers to snub some group of people that he perceived to be hostile. It doesn't make sense. The press release does not make sense. Who is writing on Shetima's behalf? Who is helping him arrange? Like a young one will come and babble some words. In the end, you would have left the man with his honor. Let him not come out and say anything. I'm a banker trained by the best. Is that how Jimovia dresses? Oh, yeah.
No, because really, like, I could not just put everything that he was saying together. I had to listen and listen and listen to that particular, voice where he was saying. I read through the speech. I was trying to connect the dots. I wasn't. How do I put it now to? How do I
like salvage the situation?
Thank you. Like salvage the situation. That's the exact word I was looking for. He was trying to salvage the situation. Don't forget that it just went beyond, people backlashing to even creating a hashtag challenge. That was a little bit too much. And I'm sure he did this. I was trying to do that, and then he came out with that explanation. But I do not seriously think that we buy into that explanation.
Do not buy it. It's really lame, to say the least. It doesn't make sense. Banker trained by the best. When he said
that, so more like if he's saying that he's a Jimovia boy, because a peer.
But they are prim and proper people.
But again, you even say that. You even say that he's saying he's a banker. Let's look at even his shirt. It was a little bit overly oversized for him. Okay, so it did not like fit him into.
It's not up to this point when it's not like no.
And the ties too. Let's look at that as well. So even if we want to buy into that argument that he's a banker, he dressed that way, and then decided to wear sneakers in between to spite somebody or to snub some people, it doesn't just add up. That's true.
But the hostile audience, which NBA. At the point where he attended the conference, they were not hostile. I mean, you were going to...
No. The point is, from one conference to the other, So he had been told that in between, he was going to meet some kind of hostile. So hostile in the sense that if it happens, you'll be able to like scamper for safety or something. That's what I don't understand. Maybe the sneakers was to make him pretty smart. It feels like everybody in Nigeria
thinks that Nigerians are a joke.
It was to make him pretty smart. Anyways. and again, the theme he sent, before him, maybe must have briefed him or something. I really do not know, but then
at the
again,
end of
it
the day, I will really, really blame the team that is working with Shetima. I will blame them very soon.
Photographer. Like I was telling somebody, I said, look, I also think that the angle at which he sat down and that picture was taken was another problem, because you could have photographers take you from a very wrong angle and the picture really comes out very scary and not beautiful. But you could still have him wear what he was wearing that day, and you have a very professional photographer know the angle to take him from, and he comes out looking very pretty. Okay, so I think that he also needs like a personal photographer that will give him shots that are really beautiful. Because come on, somebody just sat down and then decided to like, take him off guard. And like I said, how do I put it now? Our political elites, should be also prepped on how to sit down in public, because he sat down too scattered, if you ask me. Okay, yes. And that was why you had his ties, slinging out. It happened. But anyways, that's not, I don't think that that's like the main crux of the matter. The crux of the matter is that he wore a snakes with a jacket to the MB right now.
Janice, you're really asking us to buy this explanation.
Of course, yes. Okay. We just have to buy the explanation.
Just because of you, because we all know that explanation doesn't make sense.
Okay, so away from Shetima, his dress code, the hashtag Shetima Charlie from that. Okay, so another thing happened there sometime last week, and which sparked a lot of reactions from a lot of people. But I think that's way beyond just, laws governing these kinds of bodies. I think that we need to know first before we begin to react. Now, the Nigerian force suspended 2 supernumerary police officers who for what all those videos, of course, of 2 very beautiful spy policemen. They are those that they call spy policemen, very beautiful. They decided to go on a vacation and then just mix pictures of them in the uniform and of course their vacation outfit. They said that they were going to be suspended from the police force because if you look at the police force code, and constitutions and rules and regulations, they have actually offended, and all of that. When they had to come out to clear the air on why they needed to suspend these 2 people.
And only you feel like my fire. Girl, won't you be mine? Where you I go it. If not 10 years, he could take.
With spy number 5709 and Obaze Emanuela Uju with spy number 5708 who adorned themselves in conventional police officers' uniforms contrary to the code regulating the spy service. One of them similarly adorned the rank of superintendent of police, which is contrary to the extant law. Above all, in contravention of the police social media policy.
I think at the point where the Nigerian police, they are simply going by the tenets of their organization, of the force. And so if a personnel falls, then it's okay for them to get punished, especially if you're looking at a spy police. That's rather been a little more discreet. In the face of the times that we live as Nigerians, it's a really beautiful thing to see that ladies as beautiful, as classy as that are members of the police force. It's something that we've been able to do certain things. If they had just posted, like maybe pictures of their vacation and then on another slide, pictures of them in their uniform and maybe just wrote something to tell absolutely, and the police force is in their rights to actually suspend. Thankfully, this is not like the issue of where we are saying, okay, they're indiscriminately discharged, yes, or demoted, as it were. So it's just a suspension in like we said last week or thereabout. The IGP is very intentional about, cleaning up the Nigerian police force, whether it's from misconduct to their interaction and activities with citizens and all of those things. He wants a police force that can be reputable. Once an organization says, okay, we have codes of conduct that we expect every member of our organization to go by, then you can't follow those lines.
Yeah, definitely. And police or superintendent of police, that's quite a high-ranking officer, so it's not something on your own. You can also punish it like a junior officer. And then let's not also forget, it doesn't even also just deal with social media, especially when they are holding very sensitive positions. We take our minds back to, the issue of Cute Abiola when he used the naval officer's uniform in one of his kits. The Nigerians is respect the uniform of the Nigerian Navy, respect the uniform of the Nigerian police force. So when you begin to involve and indulge, I think that is where the problem comes.
Handbooks.
They give you the policy books, so you go through it and know that you have crossed the line when you have actually crossed it. Yeah. So I think that these people, they are not young people in the Nigerian police force, and for a sensitive position as being spiteful and these are the kinds of things we need to see on social media. But again, they do not even understand that there is an ethics, there are tenates concerning these organizations. And I think that some people were able to explain to them that, come on, that you have to now let the whole world know that this is what you do. So I think that the police force has done well to suspend.
And I think also,
I also thank God that it wasn't a dismissal.
Yeah, of course. Well, if we came to a dismissal, then it might have been a little too much.
Yeah.
Then, you like to really talk about court-martialing. Court-martialing would have been perfect if they wanted to stretch it. But I think another thing that I don't think settles very well, they might have just been punished without naming the fact that they are
spy.
Yes.
Of course, their uniform also explains it. You know that they like merged pictures of their vacation, they merged pictures of their videos,
you know that
on the uniform itself. So everybody understands that this is a spy uniform. Okay, so with or without them, the police force coming out to tell the public that they are spy officers, they already know. We already know that these are spy officers because their uniforms have sold them out already. And that's why the police force is even having a problem with that. You know, do not merge pleasure with your work. That is what the police force is saying. And I also want to very commend them, the IGP of police, Alkali Baba. He has said that, look, in his time, he wants to make sure that he purges the Nigerian police force, purge them of bad eggs, and then also make them know and remember the rules and the tenets guiding the Nigerian police force, so that everybody would come out and be of utmost behavior and know that this is where you draw the line, and this is what you can do, and this is what you cannot do. And I think that with all of this sensitization and deterrent being served to the Nigerian police force for those that err, I think it will also streamline them into behaving in a moral and a very civil way as well.
Yeah, it will. But okay, I know you were explaining the fact that even they are being parading himself as a police officer.
Yeah.
What we know is that the common man on the street may not necessarily know the interpretations of these various uniforms, because if you announce them now to the whole country as spy police officers, it's going to become difficult for you to be able to send them on certain assignments, because that position is already there's something the police force called it. It's already been corrupted, right? Because I mean, I'm very sure that their looks and their elegance is part of the reasons why they do the duties they do.
Yeah.
So they're able to enter into a crowd and just look like an elite lady and get you the info you want. So announcing the fact that they are spy police officers, and I mean, I don't think that just that part, I don't think it worked well.
Okay.
They might have to have there might be an issue being able to send them back into the field.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Nigerian police force has actually suspended those two pretty ladies for going against the laws and tenets of the Nigerian police force, and also going against the social media policy of the Nigerian police force. We hope that they do better rules and regulations, so we expect same of them as well. At this point, we just go over to Mary Joseph, who's standing by for the news brief, and after that, trust me, we have lots of wonderful conversations we'll be having back here on Rise and Shine. To stay with us.
which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian Police Force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempt.
My lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
A knowledge of global businesses, economic activities, a new wave of the stock market, forex market.com era to the oil booms, the fundamental news drives the market. This is Business 360, taking you to the business around the globe. Join us from 11:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. weekdays, exclusive on Spectrum Television. Business 360, your prism to world businesses.
A very wonderful morning to you. Welcome to your morning news brief on Spectrum, live from Wio. I am Mary Joseph. We begin with Vice President Yemi Osinbajo's observation that the gross domestic capitals of 10 Nigerian states are greater than that of some African nations. Osinbajo, who made the remark when some Harvard Business School students visited him at the presidential villa in Abuja, added that Nigeria should not be economically compared with notable entrepreneurs and their families across the country and on Independence Day, October 1st. Senior Special Advisor to President Muhammadu Buhari on Presidential Enabling Business Environment, Jumoke Oduwale, confirmed this in a statement. In another development, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, is asking for a copy of the agreement signed by the Nigerian and United States governments to return over $23 million looted by late dictator Sani Abacha. In a letter to President Muhammadu Buhari, SERAP said its demand was based on the provisions of Freedom of Information Act, the 1999 Constitution as an African seat at the United Nations by using its place on the world's body Security Council. Japanese Prime Minister. And finally, in sports, Ghana's Black Galaxies have defeated Nigeria's Super Eagles Team B. The results leave the Super Eagles Team B with some work to do ahead of the return leg as both teams square off again at the MKO Abiola Stadium, Abuja, on Saturday evening. We'll have details of these stories and more in our news at 12. I am Mary Joseph. Let's head back to Rise and Shine, where we have Janice and Uyai on standby. Have a wonderful morning.
Government. General, delegates.
Voting for Spectrum TV to improve for the lives of
Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Thanks for joining us. If you are just joining us, it's Rise and Shine, and we're coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakura. Beautiful, beautiful Monday morning. We just great conversations for you this morning. The People's Democratic Party don't seem to have found a way of escape yet with their internal wranglings going on in their party. And of course, last week we saw that Governor Nyesom Wike and some, political stalwart of the People's Democratic Party were spotted in London. At the time, it was mostly a hush meeting. We didn't know what it was about, but of course, PDP, they're keeping it. They're keeping the tempo high, I should say, and like we rightly say, Nyesom Wike as a beautiful bride, he's enjoying it.
Well, when we saw that, when we saw those pictures come out last, saw meeting between Governor Nyesom Wike, the likes of Benue State Governors, Otom, Samuel Otom.
Of strange faces.
Yes, there was a meeting between, Nyesom Wike and the flag bearer of the APC, Ahmed Bola Tinubu. There was also a meeting between the same Nyesom Wike and the Labour Party presidential candidate alongside the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo. There was that meeting. And of course, like Wike actually put it, there was also a meeting between him and the presidential flag bearer of his own party, the PDP. Nations that have been going on before now were all not true stories, just like he had said. The media was not, telling us exactly the true picture of things, but he stressed it that this was for the first time. And according to the story, you're saying that, they are not going to come out to tell us exactly what was discussed in the meeting, but all of those things are a lot more like collaborations to see how we can move the country forward. Okay, so we just take voice to that particular video now and hear the explanation. Of course, that's Samuel Otom. We have Rashid Olariwaju join us on this conversation virtually, and he's going to, let's see how we can analyze the situation now and know if for a truth, peace is actually coming for the People's Democratic.
Well, thank you very much. Pictures will not lie. All that you saw, whether with APC presidential candidate Ahmed Tinubu, we met with him, including our brother who had to go back to America of the Labour Party. We met with our presidential candidates. For us, man or woman alone can get it right for our country. We're looking at how we can handle. Nigeria is in distress, there's no doubt about that. From top to bottom, consider what was happening in 2015 and where we are today. So we're looking at how we can come together and find a way of ensuring that Nigeria survives. Nigeria is on drip. The whole thing about the consultation is going on. Nothing very concrete to tell you that this is what we have concluded. The consultation is going on and will continue to go on. We are still going to meet here still going to meet.
We must find a way to rescue our country, not only for this generation.
That they are looking at, and of course he also said that Nigeria is on drip right now. I don't know how to explain that exactly, or what he means by Nigeria is on drip. More like we're in a very critical situation right now, and I just want to deduce that from that drip thingy. But anyways, joining us in this conversation this morning is a journalist and a journalist per excellence and a public affairs analyst, Rashid Olariwaju. He's going to be joining us virtually all the way.
Good morning, Cross River. Good morning, Nigerians.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so of course, I know that prior to coming up, you saw all that happened about the PDP family, but across board, we saw Nyesom Wike meet with the APC presidential flag bearer. We also saw him meet with the former president of Nigeria, he also had meetings with his own presidential flag bearer and the person of Atiku Abubakar under the People's Democratic Party. Now, what can you say that we should begin to deduce from all of this?
We actually unveiled in details what all of them went to do in London. As simple as that. In Nigerian politics, irrespective of political parties' platform. You work with him, he actually has these political popularities and capacity. He's been able to put his people, when I say his people, those who are loyal to him, he has been able to put them intact. Talking about Governor Samuel Otom of Benue, Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo, Governor Ugwuanyi of Enugu, as well as Abia State Governor Okeze Ikpeazu. So these are the forerunners of Wike, who, as it is part of Nigerian politics, we've seen that in the time past. We saw that in 2014 as a build-up to 2015. We saw that in 2018 as a build-up to 2019. So whatever they are doing now is not known. The same Rivers, if you could remember, was where Rotimi Amechi was governor. If you remember, under Jonathan, what is playing out now, actually played out, not exactly, but similar to it in Rivers that time. So it is not new. Let's see what is going to happen. But like I said, what they have told us so far that happened in a lifetime, little by little it will be coming out, and little by little Nigerians will get to know exactly what they went to do. But okay, I can tell you that Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State and his loyalists, I think they helped for something. And
there's another dimension to this. Talbi, had a closed door meeting with Nyesom Wike. And I think that a little bit of what was discussed in that meeting showed up, where they said that answers do you think that they are looking for?
Well, again, it's all about politics. In politics, they say it's a game of interest. And since weeks and months ahead, we actually unveil. It won't take time any longer. Whether it is Peter Obi that Obasanjo is supporting and is canvassing for, or whether it's up to another game, we will. While it looks and it seems that Governor Nyesom Wike is actually comfortable and ready to work with the APC presidential candidate, the co-governors who are with him, seems not to be comfortable with his support and his interest with the APC presidential, actually for Peter Obi. So this divided interest is what may actually play out as it goes in the weeks and months ahead, like I said. Stylishly and politically turn himself to a new bride in the Nigerian political firmament as it is today. Ordinarily, just as Osibajo did, one would expect that Wike would have gone to rest since he did not win that election. I mean, if you look at APC contenders at that presidential primaries, the sitting vice president was there, sitting senate president was there. There are others who've gone into their shell now. I mean, they've accepted their fate that that was the outcome, and the outcome was loud and clear. But the same cannot be said of PDP. In PDP is revolving around one person, which is the Rivers State governor. So it now tells you that the way people are even thinking about this Rivers State governor is not the way he is. What am I saying? Thereafter, he will go ahead to set up his campaign team and possibly win the elections. But it's the same. It's not the same now. It is now. I mean, very well.
Okay.
And that is what is playing out now. May I also tell you that part of what he's requesting for, and maybe not his, but his team are requesting for, is what we was asking that the PDP chairman should resign and the slot should be given to his camp. Let him choose whosoever he desire from the southwest. That alone is a fracture that his camp should produce the next Senate president if the party eventually wins that election. Again, that is a Greek request. Not done with that yet. He said that Atiku Abubakar should sign a pact with him and his camp that he's going to do only one tenure. I mean, it's as good as say Mr. Candidate of our party.
Okay.
All these Wike did not accept that there are issues before. It is his camp that we're talking. But we cannot see that it's happening now. So he hasn't come out as a person to make this request. But Insider has also revealed that part of those things that his camp was saying are actually coming from.
It's saying
another thing.
Okay, but let's look at the fact that Samuel Otham of Benue State, in the clip we just watched, had actually said that the meeting, the comatose nation, of course, we are in so much trouble, and they're trying to make it look like, of course, just one party cannot handle the issues that we have on ground. He's giving a body language towards the Labour Party, and his feet are firmly grounded in the People's Democratic Party, London. They are developing strategies to solve the issues of Nigeria that goes beyond partisan lines.
If it is truly the problem of Nigeria is what they went for and not for political reasons, why can't they solve it? Is Rivers State headquarters not enough for them to have met if at all they want to solve Nigerian problem? Okay, let's even assume that it is Nigeria. Abuja is the federal capital of they were doing. Hello, what they went to do there is to take a firm decisions that will favor their interest and the interest of their camp. As simple as ABC. It has nothing to do with Nigeria. Whether Nigeria is on drip or is sick or it needs medicine or not outside Nigeria. So, like I said, what they went to do in London will be revealed in the days, weeks, and months ahead. So, whether all of them are going to join Labour Party, it will still be open. Whether they are going to remain in PDP based on their request, we will all see and see where it's going. So, all these governors, and they cannot be said. What they went to do in London is in the interest of their states they govern. No. Instead, I think they are calculating.
I had listened to, what Governor Nyesom Wike said. He said that he really stressed it, that this was the first time that, he was even having a meeting, from the Atiku camp against Wike. I know that someone like the former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido, attacked Wike at some point. I think that there's a peace pact possible for the PDP now as against Wike and Atiku.
In politics, as they say, there is no permanent friend and there is no permanent enemy. Those who are fighting dirty and defeating together on the same platform. So, I mean, it is not impossible. There may be peace path, but give ready for peace. But whether all those requests by Wike's camp will be met by Atiku is what one cannot say readily. Given, the experience of particularity, its exposure politically, I don't think he will buy into that. Don't forget, in 2000 Obasanjo, signed a peace pact that he was going to do only one term. And Obasanjo challenged him to bring out where he. And in 2007, even against the principal will, in fact, his second term as vice president was as good as, a dummy, so to speak. On that platform as a presidential flag bearer, with Tinubu at the time. Now, in 2007, in 2011, don't forget that Atiku Abubakar contested against Goodluck Jonathan as a sitting president. Of course, in 2015, he aspired to be governor. So in 2019, he was a presidential candidate of the PDP. In my view, that Atiku Abubakar will, accept such requests from the Wike's camp. But like I said, peace is what everybody. The fact that means that I think he was ready for something, because it's now glaring that a peace pact with Wike and his camp is a smooth road to electoral success for PDP.
Okay, so very quickly now, before we wrap up this conversation,
if he does otherwise, at his own peril.
Okay, so let me ask a question, because from what you have said now, I know that over time, the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, has been trying to send some kinds of, a quiet message as a gate between him and Atiku, and the silent messages he's been sending across to a lot of Nigerians in terms of Atiku now. Do you think that he's trying to use this as a soft landing to get Wike not to support, Atiku?
No, Obasanjo is not hiding his position against Atiku. Not because he hates Atiku or because of what happened between him and Atiku when they were working together. But the position of Obasanjo is hanging on now, not minding that he has personal. Obasanjo said the North and South comprises a country called Nigeria. And there was a gentleman agreement, which Atiku himself was involved, according to Obasanjo, that the power should shift. Okay, they use the move from one, region to another. That is between the North and South, not the geopolitical zone, as some people are saying, but between the North and the South of Northern Nigeria, which is supported at the time, has been there for 8 years, irrespective of the political. Nigeria, who is competent enough to lead the country, come to the fore. So, and this is what Obasanjo's position is. And that is why you've not seen Atiku Abubakar to go visiting.
Me to the question of what exactly is Governor Nyesom Wike, hoping to achieve. Now, this is my point. The People's Democratic Party is trying to broker a peace treaty between the Atiku-led camp. Instead, Wike seems to be very, very unrestful about this. Will he still be swapped as vice president?
It's not possible.
Or which we know of this particular person, and the term that he's a big wit kind of thought, and with your bank of knowledge, what does we?
He's trying to tell Atiku Abubakar that you undermine me, but I will tell you that I'm popular. Wike was trying to tell Atiku Abubakar and his followers that when the PD fame, while others left, including you yourself. So coming back now to even get the presidential candidate, you should devote to me at least. Give me some kind of respect. But you are undermining me. Has not done any national politics before. But I'm going to show you that the small boy that you are trying to underrate.
If that's exactly what he's trying to do, I think that he has made his point already and he needs to rest. Or we just go along the lines of former Jigawa State.
Then
yes, then
we are talking. They practice the politics lies based on what we see and verifiable facts before us. They actually know exactly what is going on. Hello, if PDP say to hell to Wike and his support, and the Atiku camp are saying Wike is a nobody, like one of them told me even before, they say a Wike in the PDP saw the structures in their state, government structures in their state. It's a factor. Not even talk of sitting governors led by Wike. Atiku Abubakar forget the new PDP, NPDP at the time, which Atiku championed. demanding.
All right, I want to say a very big thank you to you, Rashid Olariwa, on the show this morning. Of course, these are conversations we'll continue to have. Your thoughts this morning on the show.
They keep rising the tensions every day, and they cannot be governor in the UK. They cannot be governor. Let's have peace and let's Nigeria move forward. Thank you.
Pipe the conversation.
I seriously think it's a little bit too much, and VK tells us who he's working for, because it's because elections. Okay, on that note, we just take a breather, and when we come back, of course, so many other things. Or more like late night of Thursday into Friday morning, there was a serious building collapse in a particular mall in Kubwa in Abuja. And we know that these things happen. We've been seeing it happen in different parts of the country, collapse often. So we are going to have a conversation along those lines. Let's just take a breather and we'll be right back with our guests.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria police.
I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of our brother.
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
You never did.
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord. I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions for Legally Speaking.
Emerging markets millionaires and billionaires. From the to the business around the globe. Join us from 11:30 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Processing.
our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. Nigerian police.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also Abiola. Who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
But the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are
being in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions. PN for Legally Speaking.
Cryptocurrencies and NFTs create new dynamics towards emerging market millionaires and billionaires. From the .com era to the oil booms, the 4:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. weekdays, exclusive on Spectrum Television. Business 360, your prism to world businesses.
Nigerian police force, which is the only one by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised.
Also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find
Link you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the... It's not, my lord, these cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking every Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. for Legally Speaking.
Cryptocurrencies and NFTs create new dynamics towards emerging market millionaire. The market. This is Business 360, taking you to the business around the globe. Join Prism to world businesses.
Years of Ibiako, and we're about to have a very serious conversation and would like you to know that our phone lines are open and hear your thoughts about the situation we're about to talk on. Building alone, we've had about almost 5 building collapse that has taken the lives of people. On Thursday, we were privy to another information of a building where about to have a conversation about, the state of things with regards to buildings in Nigeria. Why are they failing and how can we salvage the situation? Good morning, gentlemen of the service.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you. So, as you can see, we have a very full house because it's a rather constructive issue, and we need to balance it from Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer James Amiang. And then we have... It
was just installed yesterday, so many
Yes,
congratulations.
fresh congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Let's start from how you feel.
I was installed yesterday as the 16th chairman of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Uyo branch. I feel in Nigeria as a whole, which is a very serious issue. And I believe I'm here.
Lots of Nigerians are at stake right now, and knowing fully well that every now and then we hear that a particular building has collapsed, and not just collapsing but also killing a lot. I think I'll start with the fire engineer there from the left, Engineer Sukwo Basi.
Yes,
please.
Of course. One is engineering. Another is social factors of society. Because of faulty construction. Faulty construction, wrong use of materials. Materials in the market now are highly compromised. Then also the social factor down. We don't have enough people to teach. Many courses are shut down even in our civil engineering department. Railway, we have highway, and so on. Transportation. Water resources. University today, civil engineering. You may ask, 5 years ago, how many courses do you offer in civil engineering? How many lecturers are there? in 5 years' time, will they still be there? So you see that there's a serious problem. The artisans are not properly trained. They are what we call now cut and nail, trained by roadside, the masons, the carpenters.
Who's supposed to be able to train the artisans?
We have supposed to have vocational centers that we train them. Then also supposed to be trained to go and build for you. And then you have somebody to come and for him to train. You don't have the facilities to train that young man or woman who wants to learn that trade. But if government wants to build or an organization wants to build, you see that you have to do that in construction. So even you as a layman who calls him to go and work, that tradesman, he knows what is involved in construction. So but those training, we are really not taking them seriously. I think he has a white wish that he uses and invents and do things. The black man has black wish that he uses and destroy. So then I've told you now that we can award contracts to people to build BPA devices. We don't pay attention to whether these companies who are going through proper routine of practically, then if you are pass them through vocational centers, they will become complete. So these things are lacking. So the society is completely down. Another aspect of the social issue is
the Engineering Society of Nigeria come into play with this. He's talking about the social vices that are fighting building, structures, the governments, as it were, to ameliorate these kinds of issues.
Well, we have always been there. We train, like Engineer Suko has said. We educate. But because of us on ground running, let me give you an instance. Several professionals. The engineer is a key professional in the process of social problems had set in to the extent that morals have built industry as professionals engaging in producing. Always advocated that relevant government agencies should and to help save lives. Mm-hmm. Because when it happens, that is one thing we must note. Or not. When the collapse occurs, you begin to see people run who probably was in charge before the collapse or made the title of an engineer will begin to deny involvement.
So Engineer Suko talked about the fact that infiltration with bad products to be the problem of collapse.
Okay, what I mean in this case by engineering failure, collapse, or the fault that leads to collapse is purely the fault of the engineer. But upon collapse, and these factors can be categorized into two: the remote, but the immediate cause.
I know that government has a role to play in all of this because, of course, I think that sometimes we see how the Nigerian Society of Engineers and even those that carry out these buildings.
Yes, Society of Engineers in the past have tried to present these issues to relevant government. 5 or 6 years ago, we have presented a position paper to the Uyo Capital. Fortunately enough, Engineer Suko Obasi and I were members of the Commission of Inquiry that investigated the collapse of the Renas Bible Church. And in the Commission of Inquiry, we heard a lot from people. Even though we are not here, is either the social aspect which is remotely controlled or the ones that leads to the immediate...
That part. Is it that, okay, so I want to build a house and I have refused, just because I want to come and give me professional advice? Is that where you're saying that it is an engineering problem?
This is it. If you want to, of course, we must also understand that the architect's primary concern is about space design. He passes it on to the structural engineer. The engineer's concern is more about safety, stability, and reliability. The architect. And he designs by his knowledge, his design, and possibly passes it on comes in with his input in terms of design. Then it is also expected that with a cost, a value, or be as a result of first, which had been earlier the designer, the right of first refusal. When I talk the structure he produced. But the problem comes in when client neglects masons, bricklayers, welders, carpenters.
Okay.
So problem occurs.
They look for an engineer.
They disappear and they say they are not engineers.
Okay, so let me speak to the proper way to engineer. You know that the structural engineer has how to save cost. So in your field of expertise, what's the main issue? Engineers versus clients. Where does the problem lie? Because we are losing lives on this.
Yes, are there no sanctions or are there not something that has to be done to checkmate these things?
Thank you so much. You've asked me a question and you've answered the question. It's because some of them, they will come to you, show you the land, tell you what they have in mind, want to build 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, and you give them cost. You do the design based on specification. My fellow has forgot to mention one thing that is very paramount. 2:4. The client will tell you, no, I have been doing this thing for 27 years. And the one I built last in Ibadan is still standing till today. I use 1:10:20. And you know, when you negate all engineers, it's cost. Because the engineer will take into account. But because you want to cut corners, you want to cut cost, you avoid him. Electrical engineer who will do the electrical design, the structural person who will analyze. He will bring in a mechanical engineer who will check the that call themselves engineers on site. Who will come and would have been doing it.
So I think that
my fellow said that the problem is passion. People should know that there is no need. They don't sell it. The thing collapsed and we lost both black.
First of all, because like you rightly said, trying to say, it seems drawing out of this conversation, developing sites. Is there a plan? But they are trained. We are even saying the artisans might not come to the end of society.
No. In the build industry, we have cadres. In the building industry, we have cadres. To climb emergency climbing from being artisan to, that is where the problem comes from. But if you were there yesterday in my inauguration, one of the manifesto, one of my cardinal, we recollect, we control, because like mechanical, we will come together, the architect, surveyors, this building collapse.
Okay,
how
so
do we go about it?
Buildings collapse. Of course, they now bring in engineers. Come and how do they say it in your terms now? Come investigate. Look at these reports and then work with what you have reported on as the cause of some of these collapses.
Point out this. In the system we are operating today in Nigeria, there is virtually, what I mean by government in this case is the agencies of government that are saddled with the responsibilities of regulating well enough. But the enforcement is weak. Government, as it is, most times, have states in the federation, most times, we tell them go home and sin no more. And the challenge has always been this. You and I will be there. The unfortunately, when it happens, is to say, oh, it is the fault of the engineers. They go aware of the fact that this non-profit, but what have they done to stay? It is all about and build ourselves as a body.
Quickest, best way we can stem the tide of this management of buildings. Some structures have stood for 20 years, 50 years. Sometimes you see some tall structures and they're beginning to crack. In terms of maintenance, I think.
And then also regulating as a part of the government, starting from the family. Everything has gone wrong. So if you ask somebody to build a house for you, you tell you that this is system, the system has collapsed. So it seems as if solutions, we have solutions. Not the white man comes to solve problem for us. We must find solutions to our problems within here. On how to do things, we must start somewhere. And if we start with the gradual enlightenment and then everybody open soil, it's an engineering material. We have geotechnical engineers to take care of that. And then the skeleton of the building, how you handle them, they're important. Wow. And then we also have the society that have a work to play. Not just the engineers, everybody. Or House of Rep member or someone, you will not, you also behave like the others.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I think this is where we just have Society of Engineers. Thank you for coming. Engineer James Amiang, fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers. Thank you so much for your chairman, Nigerian Society of Engineers, Akwa Ibom State chapter. Yeah. Or is it Uyo chapter now? Uyo. Yeah. And we still need more advocacy, just like the gentlemen in the House have said, collapse in Nigeria. I think at this point, we just take our quote of the day and then we'll leave the set this morning.
Confidence, Helen Keller. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Not optimistic. Optimism includes doing the right thing at the right time. Definitely, we'll see you tomorrow.
Definitely, we'll see you tomorrow. My name is Janice Kobum. Do have a fantastic day. Bye.